Trump making big gains this Super Tuesday, winning 14 out of the 15 states up for grabs, including the delegate powerhouses of California and Texas. Nikki Haley winning in Vermont.
They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one. And they tell me, the pundits and otherwise, that there's never been one like this. There's never been anything so conclusive. This was an amazing night. We're going to take back our country. We are going to do it right. We're going to have the greatest economy ever in the history of our country. We're going to top what we did.
Meantime, President Biden solidifying his path to the nomination on the Democrat side with wins everywhere except the American Samoa. But there were some warning signs for the president, especially in Minnesota, where nearly 20% of people voted uncommitted instead of giving him their support.
And here's how the media reacted to the Super Tuesday election results.
Republican voters don't vote that way. They don't vote based on economics or based on the benefits they're getting economically from the president. They're increasingly, from the Tea Party on, they're voting on race. They're voting on this idea of an invasion of brown people over the border.
The issue of race animates Donald Trump. The issue of race has long animated the evangelical movement.
I don't think enough has been talked about that Trump has had way more votes against him in these primaries than President Biden. President Biden is dominating every primary contest in a way that Donald Trump would like to dominate, and he has not.
Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor, and Joe joins us now. Joe, your reaction to what you just heard from the media, from the race card to Trump's in real big trouble because he did not win 100% of the vote in each primary.
It's the media, instead of crying wolf, crying race, Todd, right? And it's on MSNBC. It's as predictable as the sun rising in the east, birds flying south for the winter, and, something we could agree on, the Cowboys losing in January. These are all predictable things. Thank you. And I did enjoy how, Rachel Maddow, whose picture you can find next to the word pious, criticized her own parent network, NBC, for airing Trump's victory speech. But to get back to that montage that you played, they say that Republican voters are only voting on race. No. Exit polls show that they're voting on the economy and inflation. That's number one, according to our most recent Fox News poll. Number two is immigration. But it's not about brown people coming over the border. It's about budgets in major cities being exhausted in terms of cutting police, sanitation, education, in terms of fentanyl coming over and killing a record number of Americans. It's about the terror watch that we see as far as terrorists coming across the border, hundreds of them, according to the Department of Homeland Security themselves, that have been apprehended. So this isn't a racism thing as far as how Republicans are voting. They're voting on security as far as this country. They're voting on economic security. Those are the top two issues, on top of crime as well. But this is what that network pushes over and over again, because I guess they're telling their dwindling audience what they want to hear.
Well, Joe, you mentioned it. The president delivered a speech yesterday as the election results were coming in, or the former president, Donald Trump, and MSNBC cut him off. Watch this.
It is, okay. I will say that it is a decision that we revisit constantly in terms of the balance between allowing somebody to knowingly lie on your air.
Yeah, we saw this in Iowa. We're seeing it again. I don't understand this strategy, Joe. Is it because it feels like they think that they need to protect their viewers, like their viewers can't handle hearing the former president. And to me, that's insulting.
Carly, it's about protecting their viewers, and it's about controlling the narrative. If Donald Trump speaks directly to their viewers and talks about the immigration and border problem, or the inflation problem, or the crime problem, or lays out his foreign policy as far as Ukraine or Israel or China, they can't control it when he's speaking without the filter. They want to be the filter. They want to control the narrative. Those 5, 6 people sitting around the table, all in agreement with each other. another. By the way, this is the same Rachel Maddow who promoted Adam Schiff's most recent book on Russia collusion and for years pushed that lie herself and still to this day talking about truth. That is hilarious. Look, Donald Trump could have won with 99% of the vote and it wouldn't have mattered. Everything is bad news, according to MSNBC and to a large extent CNN. The walls are closing in, they'll say. The bottom line is that Donald Trump will be the GOP nominee, and he is the odds-on favorite, if the election were held right now, to easily beat Joe Biden. And it's panic with all caps, capital PANIC, Todd.
Yeah, I think it's panic, but I also think it's jealousy of good messaging, because on the side that they root for, the Democrats, the messaging is bad all around. Let's start with the president. Here's Joe Biden shutting down the press.
I better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble.
What's your message for Super Tuesday voters? Everyone, please move this way. Super Tuesday said, do you have a message for voters? Thanks, come on.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Boy, so inspiring. So inspiring there. Obviously, he needs cheat sheets, but when, the White House press secretary is asked about cheat sheets, this is the response.
You're upset because the president has note cards? You're asking me a question about the president having note cards?
I'm asking why.
The president who has had probably one of the most successful first 3 years of an administration than any modern day president.
That's a whole lot of not answering questions, Joe.
He is polling lower, Joe Biden is, Todd, than any president in polling history at this stage of his presidency. And here you have Karine Jean-Pierre, who needs her own share of note cards, telling you that this is the most successful 3 years of any presidency in history. I mean, it is beyond, I can't even give you a response now without choking on my own utter disbelief on these answers. And look, here's the bottom line. You saw Donald Trump take, an hour of questions, or is at, obviously, a podium giving a speech after his victory. And here you have Joe Biden saying, I may get in trouble if I take questions. That line that he's used for 3 years, literally telling you that his handlers say that he shouldn't talk to the press because he may get in trouble. That's the problem here right now. You have a president who is protected, who doesn't have any confidence in his own answers. His handlers are petrified to talk to the press, while Donald Trump is out there showing that he has far more energy and wants the job far more than Joe Biden does right now, if you base things on these things called actions, guys.
Actions speak louder than words, even when those words are written on note cards. Joe Concha, thank you very much. Have a great Wednesday, Super Wednesday, according to Carly.
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.